to the Micah podcast. It's been a while. I think over 2 months since the last time we recorded. Um, life happens.
Yep.
It was Ramadan. I think you got busy with your house,
Yep.
moving and everything else. But it's good to be back, getting back into the grind.
Yeah, we're back in the lab.
Yeah, the summer is here. You know what I'm saying? So in the summertime, it's a shooting season. I mean, this is where we're gonna see a lot of people getting their wigs blown off, like we did in Texas yesterday.
Man,
So
I mean, this is what the 20,000th mass shooting in this country. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, once I heard it, I personally didn't feel anything. Like that, the impact of a hearing of mass shooting is like, okay, all right,
that's true.
Like, okay, where did it happen? Okay, all right, it's like the Texas. Okay, it's pretty far away.
Yeah,
but
we've become numb to it.
Yeah, absolutely, I completely agree.
Sadly,
yeah,
sadly, when it happens so often, and it's the same script, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an AR-15. It's an assault rifle. A guy goes into a highly populated guy or gal goes into a highly populated, place,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just commit mass destruction and murder. And in this country, we just seem to be cursed with it for whatever reason. Whether it's a gun issue, whether it's a what they like to call mental health issue. It's only mental health when when one race does it. It's mental health then. But they like to call it a mental health issue. Then it's a gun issue. Whatever it is.
113 mass shootings have happened since January till now.
January this year.
113. From the last 5 months, we've had 113 mass shootings.
That's wild.
Can you imagine anywhere in the world where shit like this happened?
No. And that's one thing that really gets me, because for years we've painted the Middle East as, the country that
the hotbed of violence and destruction and
exactly
just inhumane, barbaric behavior.
And it is true, right? In an extreme situation and circumstances in those other countries like Afghanistan, it is true. Right.
Those are active war zones.
Right. Exactly.
So you supposed to see things like that. In Ukraine, people dying in masses, you understand, because there's an active war going on over there. You know what I'm saying? In Yemen, same thing. There was an active war going on. Somalia, the same process. Afghanistan, like you stated. Iraq, the same way. But those things have cooled off over there. Like, you don't really hear things popping off in the Middle East. But, dog, here?
Yeah. And the consistency.
Exactly. And especially if you're going to be going around the world talking about, democracy, human rights, and freedom, and safety, and all this bullshit that we, use to propagandize and sell our bullshit, our culture, our way of living to other people, whether they want to accept it or not, while our fucking house is literally burning down.
Yeah, or getting shot down. I mean, literally. So, we've painted that picture about other countries over the years, and then here we are with 113 mass shootings since January. We only in May, the beginning of May.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every year is only getting crazier. Every year, you see more and more. I mean, right now, the summer is literally around the block. You're going to see, especially in the inner cities, bro.
Yeah.
It's summer. As soon as summer starts, more people going out. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming out of that winter and spring hibernation process, you're going to see more shootings. And
one of the issues is because it's politicized now, right? This issue, it's on the left, on the right. Is it a gun issue? Is it a gun issue? All of this stuff. I will be the first one to say, with no politics involved, that it is a gun issue, right? That's where we should start, at least at the base, right? That's the easy thing that we can knock out. Let's make it harder or impossible for guns of this magnitude, assault rifles like this, that is designed and created to commit mass destruction like it is, right? These war guns. Let's make it hard for people to just get them, or impossible to get them, right?
Yeah.
That's the easy thing we can knock out the way. Now,
exactly, yeah.
Is that a full resolution? Nah. You know what I mean? Because you got fucking psychos in this world, or people with mental health issues, whatever. I mean, that's an argument or a debate for, I guess, this day. I was going to say another day. But the easy thing that we can do, the quick thing that we can do, is legislate this thing and get the guns out of the hands of these psychopaths, right?
I truly believe, I completely agree with what you're saying. I think we need a psychological evaluation. I think just going to a gun store, handing your driver license, and whatever bullshit background check they do, oh, here's a gun.
Right.
It shouldn't be that easy.
Nope. Especially a gun of that magnitude. You know what I mean? I was in the military. I shot those type of guns, and those are not just ones you should have at home. And I know everybody's a gun ho, right? They like to collect guns, and they like to do that type of things with going to the shooting range and all that. But at the end of the day, those guns are not made for home defense. Those guns are not made to be toys that you keep stashed away at home. Those guns were made for one reason and one reason only, and that was to take out a mass group of people quickly and efficiently.
Exactly.
That's what they were made
They're
for.
war guns.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You serve in the armed forces, so you've seen that shit firsthand.
Yep.
That these guns are made to in combat where there's two parties shooting each other.
Yep.
It's not just a guy that's gonna walk into a mall, walk into a school, and just started shooting random people who have no idea what was gonna happen to them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and it's a reason why it's a low percentage of, I guess, mass shootings that are done with handguns or shotguns or some other form of a gun other than an assault rifle, right? It's the reason why. So that's the first thing. That's without politics. That's not us being Democrats or damn sure not Republican, but that's the easy thing. But that's too hard for this country because everything is about politicking. Everything
identity politics.
Yeah, that's all it's about, right?
Tribalism. People have cliffs. I don't even call them cliffs. They're like more like tiny hills that they're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
If they don't defend this, all hell can break loose or whatever. I truly think, the gun, mass shootings in this country are not gonna end.
Yeah.
All right. So forget about that. This is part of our culture. Like I've said this several times, right? The 3 words in the English vocabulary perfectly define what this country is: stupid, violent, and impulsive.
Yep.
At any second, someone will pop off and will justify the rage within themselves to get a gun and to start killing everybody.
Sadly.
It's an automatic response to any small situation that can be talked about or calmly situated, and you know what I'm saying. There's other countries in the world. You know what I'm saying, like Sweden, Switzerland, whatever. There's crazy amount of gun ownership, but they're highly educated, logical people. And people here are degenerates. We have to understand that. People laugh at it and it's funny and joke. It's not. You can just observe your person, people around you, and within your family, and you can be like, okay, this person gets to vote.
Exactly.
This person gets to select the leader based on what level of intelligence and competence. God knows what.
Yeah. So then, going into that, then do you think it's a mental health issue? Because I feel like while we can't disregard it being a mental health issue, I just don't think overall that all of these guys just need to go talk to a therapist or get mental health, and then that's going to eradicate mass shootings. Because, like you said, you mentioned it doesn't happen in any other country, right?
It's a culture thing. It's part of the rotten society.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you see civilizations collapse, they don't collapse because of an external power. They implode within.
Yep.
And this is an implosion. Where society is caving in on itself through violence, through perversion of all sorts, and degenerate sexuality, drug use, whatever. Corruption, profound corruption, which we have. So I doubt it. Nothing will happen regarding the guns. We can literally bitch and moan on this podcast. And others have done it too. Nothing is gonna happen. There will be far more mass shootings. Nobody's gonna care. And you don't even hear people saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this could happen in my neighborhood," because everybody knows it's gonna happen in your neighborhood
at some point. Sadly.
Yeah.
So
if someone can walk into a elementary school and kill children.
That was sickening, man.
Not once, not twice, not 3 times. I don't even know how many times I've witnessed it. Seen it on TV and heard about it on television. That has happened nationally. I don't know. I can't even count how many times.
It's sickening. And like you said, it happens so often to now, in a sense, we become numb. We see it on the news or we read about it. It pops up on my phone. I get the notifications and it's like either I'm numb to it or, so many happen so often where I just think they all won. I'm thinking, when you mentioned it earlier, I said, I didn't hear about the guy who ran to the mall and killed those people in front of H&M. I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what happened?
But I was thinking when you mentioned it, I thought you was mentioning the last mass shooting a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, man, this is crazy again.
Can't keep up. Yeah. Cannot keep up. You're virtually not safe anywhere.
No, you're not.
Keep your head in a swivel. Wherever you are in, you know what I'm saying? If you're outside, you want to enjoy yourself, you need to have some level of paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be out to lunch and just like, oh my God, I'm all over the place. Yeah, you're not in La La Land, bro.
No,
you are in a degenerate society. Especially if you're outside, you have no idea. Some jackass literally today, it was a couple of hours ago, I sent him a video in Texas. The guy ran into a plethora of people standing on a bus stop and he ran them over and killed them. I've seen those. You saw those graphic videos.
Yeah, I did.
People getting decapitated.
Yeah.
Those guys were just trying to go home after a shift, and now they're dead.
He killed how many?
Eight people. 8 people. He ran them over with his car. And in Brownsville, Texas, things like that happen all the time. This is going to keep happening, and it's only going to get worse. And I think this is like some sort of a mathematical theory of something behind it. Violence is only going to escalate until it reaches to a level where society is going to be like completely collapse, or there will be a revolution.
Yeah. Sadly, it's a part of our culture, like you mentioned earlier. Sadly, this is a part of our DNA in America. And I don't have the answers, but man, there's a lot of things we could do if we remove the politics to make this thing better, but that's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. This country's far too broken with the nonsense,
Yeah.
Identity politics and team, my team versus your team.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't solve problems like that. And if you have kids, like, a lot of people out there, married, they have kids, whatever. I'm a upcoming future father.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my number one concern, that's all I think about. Like, how do I protect this kid?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Do I send him to school? And if I send him to school, it should be like about, hey, he's getting educated. He's as safe as he's gonna be.
Yeah.
He's around other kids. Sure. He's around the teacher, right? It's
Yep.
school.
Yep.
Nothing's supposed to happen in a school.
No, it's supposed to be their safe place.
Exactly. I don't want to get a call saying, hey, there was a shooting, or watching TV and I'm looking at the news and there's a shooting at my kid's school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is my son dead?
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, me becoming a father now, that is literally, since I heard that news, God bless me with a child.
Yes, sir.
Like, bro, I am nah. And
this is one of the things. First of all, I just want to say, man, I'm happy for this guy, him and his bride, man, having their first child, and and it's a boy too. I know you wanted a boy, so I'm happy for y'all, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate
it, brother. Especially since I've been knowing y'all, and knowing you and your wife, man. Y'all deserve this, and definitely wish y'all the best, brother.
Thanks, man.
And that's one of the things that I thought of, when we was talking, when you first told me, in being happy, I said, yo, your life is going to change, and your normal way of life now, all of that is going to shift, because everything now is going to be, like you said, geared toward, how does this affect my child?
Exactly.
Right?
That's all I think about now.
And this is why, sadly, these type of shootings and killings and murder that has ingrained itself into our culture now trickles down to, when we have a kid, we now think about that that's one of the first things we think about. Like you said, I'm having a kid, I'm excited, I'm happy, but then we quickly transition to, well, damn, now how do I keep my child safe at school? You know, how do I protect my child? How do I keep them safeguarded in this situation and that situation? And sadly, that's evidence of how these type of shootings and killings has ingrained itself in our culture. But it definitely shifts us. You know, obviously, you know, I'm a father too, so it's a scary thing when you send your kids to the school or daycare. And
Exactly.
I know, you know, I feel more protected at work than than the kids, you know, who go to school just to get an
Exactly.
education.
Uh,
Right? It's scary, but you know, on that note, I am happy for you guys, man.
no, completely appreciate it, man. I mean, I've spoken to so many parents that are now starting to homeschool their kids. I mean, I
Mhm.
literally was at an event yesterday, a festival, and then we were speaking to a bunch of parents that have kids, that are in elementary school. Yeah, they say, yeah, we pulled our kids.
Yeah,
We're homeschooling them.
yep,
We have the money.
yep,
We're spending it on better tutors, and they're getting far better education than they were in public schools. It's cheaper than private schools because they created the curriculum. You know, when you're homeschooling, there's a curriculum that you follow by your state that
yep,
you are able to pass standardized examinations, and that's like bare minimum that you need to know to pass.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? And now that there's so many online formats, online engineering schools, and for mathematics, sciences, literature, it's not like back then. You know what I'm saying? Where the options were far less. You know,
yeah,
yes, it was either go to private school, hire tutors, and homeschool, or send your kid to public school. But
yeah,
now you have all sorts of options,
yep,
and we're gonna explore that. I don't think I'm sending my kid to a public school, not because of school shootings, as well as other perversion
yeah,
that's they're being brainwashed into, which I don't believe in.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Do what y'all do with yourself, but
yeah,
not with the kids. Absolutely not. Not at least with my kid. I don't give a
yeah,
shit what you do with your kid.
yeah.
But no.
And it's sad.
Yep. And if you have the means, the financial means, get out.
Yeah,
Get out of this country. That's
for
what I'm
sure.
trying to build myself up to have enough money so I can get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean the what's the way that this country has. I'm not going to even say changed into, because you know, from the root of it, murder and execution has always been a part of the DNA ever since the Europeans came over and took the land from the Native Americans. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been ingrained in, I would say, in the American culture from the beginning, because
Mm-hmm.
before that it wasn't considered America. But the way that it has, you know, it's sad now, because now, I mean, look at what we're discussing. We have to transition to, you know, or resulting to bunkering our kids down, you know, at home, right? We can't even go out now, right? That's the place we've gotten to. And even if we did, right, the moment we step foot into a grocery store, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you
You know what I
can
mean?
go to a grocery store, like you said, a mall. This happened yesterday.
Yep.
Like one of these places where they shut down the street and they have a bunch of restaurants
Yeah.
and you can eat. I mean, you have to think about that stuff. It's
Yeah.
so messed up that you actually have to put your mind towards that direction.
Mm-hmm.
But these things have so common that if you're not thinking about your safety at all times, what's happening around you, and being like mentally prepared to some degree to protect yourself and your loved ones,
Yep.
you're kind of setting yourself up
Yeah.
now.
100%.
Like those
100%.
kids, people yesterday going to the mall. You go to the mall to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're in a good mood already. You're gonna shop. You're gonna eat something, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to these places to for an outing, to restaurants or whatever, to get shot and killed at.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
And that's the sad part. He didn't even make it in the mall.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed everybody out in that parking lot. He didn't even get inside.
Yeah.
Like,
thank God he did not.
yeah, yeah. That Good Samaritan.
The guy who ran them over with his pickup truck. I love that guy. God bless his heart.
100%.
Yeah, he literally saved it, because if that guy could have gone inside the mall,
Man,
we have no idea the level of devastation that could have taken place.
there's thousands of people in there.
Exactly.
And I mean, who knows how much ammo and how many rounds he had in a AR-15, or what he had on him.
Yeah, I mean, he had AR, he had handguns, he had the whole like belt with clips.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there was a picture of him lying dead on the ground where he was. He looked like a soldier, bro. I mean, this dude was packed. I mean, he had a body armor, he had a belt full of ammo, he had 2 handguns, and like on his chest was an assault rifle.
Wow.
So he was literally there to cause maximum damage.
If he would have made it inside that mall, that would have been it.
You would have had at least 30, 40 people.
Even more.
Yeah,
because there's thousands of people in that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, you would have seen a mass shooting
for sure.
And thank God for that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it sucks. I mean, but
right now there's no resolution.
There's no resolution. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, with Republicans and Democrats and the American justice system and legal system and political system, there's no resolution.
Yeah, there's no resolution. If you have the means, get out of this country. And if you don't, figure out alternative solutions and financial, strategies to figure out a way to get out eventually.
Yeah. Keep yourself safe.
Yeah, because your main product on this planet is to survive and thrive. It doesn't matter where you live.
Right.
You don't focus on like, oh, this patch of dirt, I need to die here. No.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. And, just be vigilant, right? Be vigilant, be watchful, be aware. I think that's the most you could do. Even from that video we saw together, the moment he started shooting, there was a black truck that was parked. And I guess the owners were in it because as soon as he started shooting, they took off, right?
Yeah.
And they were on the lucky side, of still being alive, versus the ones who were not so lucky. Yeah. But always just, be vigilant, be aware. I think I'm definitely, everywhere I go now, I mean, my head is on the swivel. Like, I'm watching everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that that's the thing that'll keep you alive, but at the end of the day, it might be that one, thing that at the end may help you survive or help somebody else survive.
Exactly. Right? And this is why it's such a good reason to be in shape.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Running away is self-defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're living to fight another day.
But those people couldn't run away. At least from what I saw, the angle of and the position of where they got killed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't run, you know what they say, like, you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be faster than the slowest guy.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're not the slowest guy. Yeah, with that being said, man, this is like probably, after coming back for a while, this was a pretty heavy introduction.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let's transition to the playoffs.
Yeah, you been watching, man?
Yeah.
You see the Lakers up 2-1 on Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be 2-2. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad about that. So I'm pulling for Golden State. I'm hoping, because I'm a born LeBron hater. You know what I mean? I was born.
Oh my God! With LeBron, there's only two extremes. You either love him or you hate him.
Yeah, absolutely hate him.
And you can't be in the middle.
Absolutely hate him. I don't like him. Everybody knows I'm a Kobe guy, and I'm also a Jordan guy when it comes to the LeBron topic. So I think he kind of tainted the Lakers' legacy when he crossed over for like the 800th time and switched teams over to California. But I'm hoping Golden State pull these guys off. But they're old now, man. They're not the same Golden State. Even last year when they won the championship, they still seemed like they were lacking something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, plus they lost Draymond Green, right?
That one game he got suspended.
No, who did they lose last year?
You want Clay, was it? No. Last year they had everybody.
No, who someone left the team. The guy who's kind of bald.
You talking about Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant left, right? I mean, he was a huge part of their success.
Yeah, he left a couple years ago.
Yeah, he left, and then who else left? Klay Thompson?
No, he's still there, but he was out like a year and a half from that ACL tear.
Yeah.
Or Achilles tear.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, man. I mean, because Golden State were dominating for a while, man.
Yeah. They would, but I want them to keep dominating, at least over the Lakers, because I don't want to see LeBron win.
And what about the East Coast?
East right now is Boston, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee got bounced. Boston, Philadelphia, and Miami Miami looking real decent now.
Speaking of Philadelphia, can you briefly speak about your trip just for 5 minutes?
Bro.
This guy went for a nice weekend getaway to all cities that he had option to. He went to Philly.
Listen.
To the nice area in Philly.
Listen. Yo, I despise anyone who has ever told me anything good about Philadelphia.
Bro.
So I just try to get away. I just try to get away for one weekend, man. Let me get away for one weekend. And, everybody talks about, in this area, in the DMV, everybody talks about, obviously DC, Baltimore, New York, and Boston, right? That's the big thing in Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
So everybody's like, hey, if you can't get up to New York, you should hit up Philadelphia. They got cheesesteaks and it's a sports town and it's nice. They got good shopping. And that was the worst fucking experience ever in my life. I will never.
How much money did you burn?
I spent $700 up there, bro. Hey, you stupid, man. Yo, I was so mad. I mean, the hotel was almost $400 by itself, and I was.
You have any idea if you would have went to New York City, like I said, with a $400 night, you could have gotten a really decent hotel in Manhattan.
I know. That's why
it burns. With a good skyline view. Bro. Especially the time you went, it's actually off season.
Yes,
you would have had a tremendous time, bro.
From the moment, and I stayed in the Rittenhouse, so downtown Rittenhouse Square area. That was supposed to be.
That's like 3 blocks of Philadelphia that you can stand once you leave those 3 blocks.
Barely stand, because that was a shithole in itself. You know what I mean, bro? From the moment I entered the city, I was like, why did I do this?
It looks greasy.
It's super
like
greasy.
Brown,
grimy,
and like gray. It's disgusting.
It's garbage.
I mean, it's a city that literally worships a fake boxer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm never gonna give up. I'm gonna fight.
Hey,
they got 2 things. A ground beef sandwich. I despise the cheesesteak.
Bro.
It's an overhyped sandwich and a fake boxer.
That was the worst food I ever ate in my life. Bro, and I love cheesesteak. I love Philly cheesesteaks. I went to the 2. It was Patsy's, and then the one right across the street from. I can't remember.
Geno's.
Yeah. I went to both. Is it Geno's? I think it's Geno's. Yeah. I went to both, right? And both of them were complete fucking
shit.
Trash.
Complete shit. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, first off, I was eating more bread in both sandwiches than I was meat.
Yeah.
The meat had no flavor, no season, no taste. The onions were not cooked. That shit was cold. Both sandwiches were cold. It was complete garbage.
My God.
Right? My hotel was trash. It was like something out of the 1800s. I had to pull a fucking string that was connected to the wall to cut the lights on. Like, it was complete garbage.
Bro.
I walked the streets. I walked maybe for about 3 or 4 hours in downtown. I was just trying to find some type of fucking light at the end of the tunnel. And
was there any decent bars?
I went to A Bar. A Bar is supposed to be like the most popular bar down there, but it's literally like not even the size of this room, and it was packed. Like, it was a line outside. I was like, I'm not waiting on that. But I mean, it's riddled with homelessness.
Yeah.
I mean, the homeless and drug population down there was insane. And this was the nice part of Philadelphia.
God.
And it kind of pisses me off because you hear bad stuff about DC. You definitely hear bad stuff about Baltimore, Chicago, and all this. But I don't think Philadelphia gets the rightful reputation that it should get. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a
dumpster. It's a dump.
It is, man.
I went there for 4 hours, and I was like, "Can I please leave?"
Me too, man.
Can I please escape this disgusting, filthy piece of shit city?
Yo, so if we got anybody from Philadelphia listening,
you need to move. If you had seek my advice,
look,
Get the F out of Philadelphia.
Look, I'm from Detroit, so I know bad areas. I lived near St. Louis when I was in the Air Force, right? So I know some bad areas, right? I will never in my life go to Philadelphia again, ever, for not a single. I have animosity against it because I wasted so much damn money, and I wasted my time. I'm like, even in DC, right? You have bad parts, then you got good parts. Exactly. Baltimore is the same way. You have horrendous parts, exactly, then you got good parts. Philadelphia has nothing but fucking dump, trash areas. That's it. I mean, that's all it is.
Completely agree. I mean, when I was there with my friend like about 4 or 5 years ago, he was he bought a puppy from someone outside of the city limits. So we're like, man, we're already here. Let's just go into the city. Yeah, bro, it was a complete and utter disgrace. Trash. Absolute disgrace. Trash. Yeah, it's complete shit. I mean, something better, you could have gone to Jersey City. Yeah. There's a Hyatt literally at the river, at the Hudson River. You cross the tunnel and you're inside in Manhattan. Yeah. That's a good place. That's where I stay. But see, I was reading that Philadelphia was like little New York, and now I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to even go to New York now. Philadelphia is Queens. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, it's not. Yes, New York is, I mean, there's a lot of bad things, but bro, there's just so many things you can go to. You could have gone to a comedy, stand-up comedy show. You could have gone to. There's just things happening all over the place. Like concerts. Yeah. You can find amazing places to eat. Yeah. In literally every block in New York. Yep. Same. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be bored in New York. Same for Baltimore. If you do, you lack imagination. Yep, for sure. Same for Baltimore, man. My weekend getaways, and that was the thing. I usually go to Baltimore, and everybody's like, why you go to Baltimore? It's crazy and all that. I'm like, there's nice parts where you can get one, good food, and two, you can stay in a nice hotel and relax. Obviously, you don't go to the bad end, but if they do have some good ends, right? I would rather eat crab legs raw than fucking taste another Philadelphia cheesesteak from that dumpster, man. I will never go back to Philly. Yeah, and that's why the 76ers don't deserve to win. That city does not deserve. And the Eagles. I'm so glad they won. I'm so happy, dog. I officially hate their sports teams. I despise the city and anybody that comes out of it. So, and thank you, Terrell Owens, for ruining the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you. Even Andy Reid left. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of this shit. Yeah, he did. I'm like, I gotta leave this dumpster city to win any fucking Super Bowls. Yo, that's funny. And he went in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, he went to Kansas City. He's like, won. Twice. Yeah, and won twice, exactly. So if you're in Philly, you deserve what you get. We're sorry. But if you have a person with any self-respect in Philly, you might as well leave. We're sorry. Yeah. I think, and I think with that being said, transitioning into I think you were talking about the concept of forgiveness. Yeah, so I wanted to hit on this because I was talking to a friend about this earlier, and I talked to my family about this as well. And this has been a big part of my life, especially in the Christianity community, right? The concept of forgiveness. I think ingrained in us, from the moralistic and ethical way of us being humans, right? Yeah. We have made this a part of our everyday life, right? Forgive. We teach our kids this. We definitely teach this in our religions, right? Whether it's, Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Yeah. The Islamic religion or Christianity, Catholicism, whatever it is. Yeah. We teach this concept of forgiveness, but specifically speaking to the Christian community, it is ingrained in the Bible, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you open up the Bible blindly, you'll probably fall on the scripture that's telling you, or a concept or story telling you to forgive, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I want to talk about is the weaponizing of forgiving, right? And I think specifically, because all I can talk about is my experience
and what I know from it. And you could give a different angle
Yeah.
about it. But my angle is Christianity, right? Because I grew up in a Christian church. My parents had us in all type of churches, and shoot, some Sundays, I mean, we was in church three or four services on Sundays. Then we had Bible study throughout the week. Then we had prayer. We had choir practice. Then we went on Saturday to clean the church, and then three or four services on Sunday, right? So this was ingrained in us since we were kids. But I want to talk about the weaponizing of forgiveness, specifically in Christianity and in the Black community, because from a child, from the moment something is done wrong to you, from the moment you are abused or the victim, we are taught only to forgive, right? Forgive, forget. You got to forgive and you got to forget. And this has come up in my family like lately, right? You got to forgive. You can't hold on to things. You can't hold on to hatred. You can't hold on to grudges. You can't hold on to bad feelings and ill feelings. And, you know, my issue with this topic is this is why we have so many adults, especially in the Black community, but so many adults who are still traumatized, who are still hurt, who are still broken, who still live toxic lives, who are unhealed, right? Because all we were taught was just to forgive, right? We put the responsibility back on the abused. We put the responsibility back on the victim. We put the responsibility back on the person who was wrong to forgive. We leave out accountability. We leave out the responsibility of the abused and them having accountability. We leave that out, right? We eliminate that, and we put the onus back on the abused person. And I see this so much in my life because I heard this growing up, right? My father wasn't in our life, right? Our stepfather raised us from, at least from the beginning of my life. I think my sister was little, and then my brother was a little bit older. But from the beginning of me, since I was born, my stepdad raised us. So our father wasn't in our life. Me and my sister father wasn't in our life, and his side really wasn't in our life. Well, they wasn't at all. And from the moment, right, I could, you know, I guess formulate thoughts and speak and talk and communicate. The only thing that was ingrained in me from my family was, oh, you got to forgive your dad. Your dad's not here, but you got to forgive him. Your dad don't want to be around, but you got to forgive him. Your dad don't want to have nothing to do with you, but you got to forgive him. Oh, your dad called after 5 years of not speaking to you, but you can't hold that hatred. So as a child, right, the responsibility on me as a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old, the responsibility, the weight on me is I got to forgive. And if you tie that back to Christianity, I got to forgive or else, right? I have to forgive my father as a 7-year-old for not having anything to do with us, for stating he didn't want to have anything to do with us, for being absent, right? I got to forgive him for the void that he created in our lives, or else. And you could tie that or else to anything that you read in your Bible, right? Or else hell, or else curse, or else whatever you know, fill in the blank when it comes to what your Bible tells you. So from the beginning, this weight, right? I got this weight. Then I become a teenager and I become an adult. And guess what? Guess what I hear? I think the last time I talked to my dad, I was maybe 20. I was in early 20s, right? He called. I think I got connected from my sister. He was talking to my sister, or he was at her house, or something like that. They called me, and that was the next thing that I heard again. You gotta forgive, and I'm only using this as an example, right? There's many other examples because we see this in our community. We see kids abused, and the first thing that they told, well, you can't hold on to that. We see kids raped, right? We see kids beaten. We see kids neglected, and we see kids abused, and all we tell them is forgive, not get help, not seek a therapist, not seek some type of assistance, not hold the abuser accountable. All we are taught is forgiveness because this is what your religion and your Christianity and your Bible teaches you. And we have to stop this cycle because what happens is we become 24, 25 30-year-old, 40-year-old people,
Yeah.
and we're still broken.
Mm.
We're still battered. We still are full of toxicity because all we knew was to forgive, but we're not healed, right? We don't, forgiveness is at the discretion of the one who is abused,
Yeah.
right? That is up to me, right? We're not obligated to forgive, despite what your Bible and your Christianity tells you, right?
Yeah.
If I find my happiness or my peace in moving on and holding that animosity and using that animosity to do better, or using that animosity as a lesson to, raise my children in a better way, or using that animosity to treat, my fellow brother or sister better, then I'm going to hold that animosity to make better decisions. Forgiveness is my choice, not your religion, not your Bible, not your control or manipulation, because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is my choice. And I know you had something to say to that.
Yeah. Everything you said, I agree 100%. It's about like, it's not just the sake of forgiving. Like, you have to understand like what happened to you, why it happened, what were the motives behind it, and that's how you figure out, okay, that's why it happened, and how I can prevent it, certain situations like this from happening to me again.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to learn from your abuse. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't get cut by the same knife twice.
Exactly.
So you can't, man, like inside of you, once you understand all those variables, maybe one day when you decide yourself, yes, I want to forgive, but I ain't gonna forget.
Exactly.
And this is one of my favorite lines of what Tupac said. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can forgive, but do not forget.
That's right.
Forgive them, because if you forget, you're an idiot.
That's right.
Because people will find every reason to screw you over, because they're like, okay, man, this guy is easy target, is easy picking. You know what I'm saying? I will abuse him as much as I want,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gonna forgive, and he's not gonna learn his lesson. So might as well keep it doing it.
Yeah. And that was my whole point of bringing up this topic, is because it is now being used for control and manipulation, because I know that I can do anything to you because you got to forgive.
Yeah.
I know I don't have to treat you right. I know I don't have to be humane or ethical or moral with you because you're going to forgive, especially if we the same religion. You got to forgive, right?
Yeah.
Or you can't call yourself a follower of whatever you say it is, because what you're following mandates that you forgive.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're using it for control and manipulation.
Yeah, and people do that. Religion is such a powerful tool to manipulate and control masses, because it touches the most important part of what makes you human, which is your heart.
Exactly.
Which is your soul and your emotions.
Yep.
Once somebody has them like this, they literally have you.
Yep.
You're in their possession. You're their puppet.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You like, again, we say, you have to be spiritually, emotionally, and physically observant about what's happening to you.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? You don't have to forgive for the sake of forgiving because you have some ties with this person, for it could be family, friends, business related. Be vigilant, and only forgive when you are prepared to forgive. I mean, is in theory it is good. The concept of forgiveness, why people say, is so it doesn't destroy you,
right?
Which is why they teach, they forgive, so the rage and the hate and that whole burden of sorrow doesn't consume you and destroy you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you forget. You know what I'm saying? You keep an eye on this person. All right, this dude, mess with me. He abused me. He backstabbed me. I'm never going to associate myself with this person or anyone who's associated with them, so I can protect myself in the future.
Exactly. And I for me personally, I go a step above and say, in a lot of situations, forgiveness does not suit me. There's a lot of people that I hate, right? There's a lot of people that I despise, and that's not changing, right? I use that. Now it's what you do with that. You can't become destructive, right? You can't take it and then use it in a in a crazy, murderous or psychopathic way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I do with what happens to me, what I do with what goes on around me, how I respond and react is my choice. Like I said before, it's not your religion's, it's not yours, it's not anybody else's. It's my choice. And for me, I choose to retain that emotion and that feeling, whatever it is. If I'm pissed off, animosity, whatever it is, and I use it in a productive way. But I'm one to tell you, because a lot of people say, you know, forgiveness will eat you up. It'll burn on the inside of you, and you'll just be miserable and depressed. I go to sleep peacefully every single night, hating a lot of people. I tell you that right now. You know what I mean? I do not lose no sleep. I get up. I love my children the same. I do my job the same.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm at peace, right? Just because I don't like you, just because I hold you accountable for your actions, just because I don't forget the shit that you did to me, don't mean that some burning feeling on the inside of me is tearing me apart. You know what I mean? My dad has never been in my life, but look at my life now, right? So I could still despise him and be a productive member in life.
Society,
right? So I go above and beyond that. And I just think, you know, before we have the conversation about forgiveness, get help. Before we have the conversation about forgiveness, hold people accountable. Before we have the conversation about forgiveness, let's look at those responsible for why this person should be forgiven. And let's have that conversation. Let's rectify those issues. Let's resolve that trauma, pain, hurt. Let's get past that before we start preaching forgiveness, because all we create is a cycle of abused people and unhealed people, because that's all we have now, right? That's all we have when we jump straight to forgiveness, when we weaponize forgiveness. All we have is now grown adults passing this abuse down to their generations because all they know is forgive and not healing, right? So, yeah, that's all I got, man.
Yeah, with that being said, no, it's completely agree. I mean, these things affect everybody. The things that we discussed on this episode, it affects every single American.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have families that are living in this violent society, kids that you need to think about, and visiting Philadelphia, obviously that's a shithole. And you know, the concept of forgiveness and learning to protect yourself from scumbags. So, you know, think about this. You know, don't just intercept within yourself if you listen to this episode. And think about the shit that you gone through and how you need to reevaluate certain things, because we do that, and I think is everyone should do that. Constantly reevaluate, reposition yourself, and that's how you're gonna get ahead. With that being said, peace, and please subscribe and please share to Micah Podcast.